Hey everyone. So yesterday with my video I said I was going to probably put up a video talking about the lore of my chapter, and that's exactly what that's going to be. So as I said, I don't have a name for these guys yet. I got like 13 different names I'm bouncing around. I can't pick one. So I'm just not going to worry about that right now. But I do have a great deal of lore built around them. So one thing to keep in mind is if you're watching this, like if you're a friend of mine watching this and you don't really know much about Warhammer lore at all, I am not going to be over explaining this. I'm not going to be going to every little detail. So if you want to know the context, I'll name some videos as I go that'll, hey, give you some more context to this. But basic things I would look up first is who is the Emperor of Mankind, who are the Primarchs, and the original legions. So, with that in mind, let's continue. So, my chapter was founded in the Ultima Founding, which is the newest Space Marine founding legion. Newest Space Marine founding. And they are successors of the Salamanders chapter. To put it really briefly, Salamanders like flame weapons. So, these guys are going to be using flame weapons quite a bit. But I also want to set them apart, and they don't go as heavy on it as the Salamanders do. In many respects, they don't act like Salamanders very much at all. In that Salamanders are the first founding legion that is best known for its love of humanity. That they're the only chapter that will absolutely put the individual human before themselves. My legion does not do that. In fact, they don't actually give too much of a shit about the individual human. They fall in line with most Space Marines. That most humans are just kind of lesser to them. It's their job to protect them, but if they need to, they will sacrifice innocents. Welcome to Warhammer for anyone who isn't part of it, who hasn't been engrossed in it, but nothing is happy. There are no good guys. So, my chapter, yeah, they have really no qualms about sacrificing innocents to get the job done. So, one way in which they're like Salamanders is that they have taken a great focus on making the best weapons they can. That while most of the Legion don't actually form their own weapons, the artisans, the ones who craft the weapons for the chapter, have taken great pride in their lineage from the Salamanders, and have constantly tried to push themselves and better themselves on weapon craftsmanship. So whenever I feel this on the tabletop, I'll be spending a few command points on mastercrafted weapons, just for the lore reason, even though that's not the tactical best thing to do. For narrative purposes, I'd bring them with more mastercrafted weapons. Also, unlike the Salamanders, they don't rely on close-range combat. They're more a mid-range combat army. But it's a close to mid-range, because they do employ quite a few flame weapons, which, when I buy the aggressors, which will be the next unit, it's going to be using a Flamestorm Gauntlet for a weapon, which is basically just a gauntlet flamethrower. But they're not as reliant on it as the Salamanders are, on how, with the Salamanders, their sergeants, like how my sergeant's wielding a pistol here, theirs would be wielding a flamethrower pistol. Also, they don't have a big penchant for thunder hammers like the Salamanders do, because sergeants in these intercessor squads have an option to take melee weapons. Any sergeants of mine that do will probably take like a power sword, but Salamanders tend to carry big thunder hammers, which are tank fuck-uppers. They hit like a fucking truck. But it's not something I may have a couple that use it, but for the most part, they'll either A, have their rifles, or they'll carry a power sword. But yeah, So they were formed in the Ultima Founding, and despite being founded as a chapter from the very beginning of the Indomitus Crusade, unlike many that were formed at the end of the Indomitus Crusade, they still followed around the Primaris legions under the lead of Rabute Gilliman. They still fought alongside a lot of the Grey Shield Salamanders, which is why they ended up getting such a penchant for flame weapons, was because they originally weren't going to fight like that, but after fighting with salamanders for so long, some of their battle styles have rubbed off on the chapter. But that's all I'm really going to share for right now. I have more, but it's not a lot more I really want to talk about just yet. But yeah, so Salamander successor, but they don't fight or think like salamanders very much. And this is this is my favorite unit that I've built so far. I love the pose, I love the pistol, I love how it came out. Like I said, next I'm going to be building aggressor squads, which, again, that'll probably be the next video I put up here, is them built and painted, or at least built. And yeah, it's coming along pretty well. I'm not going to be buying any characters yet, because I'm not confident enough in my painting ability, and when I make characters, I want the characters to come out really well. I want them to look like, yeah, these are the big boss bitches of the chapter. But until I get better at painting, I'm not going to do that, because I don't want to fuck them up and be stuck with a subpar character. But pseudo-sloppy soldiers, yeah, I can live with that. But anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time.